The fluorescent lights of St. Mary's Hospital corridor had become Marcus Webb's second home over the past 3 weeks. Every evening at 7, he would arrive to relieve his wife Jennifer from her vigil at his mother's bedside. Catherine Webb, at 72, had suffered a severe stroke. That left her partially paralyzed and unable to speak clearly. The doctors said her recovery would be slow, requiring patience, constant care, and above all, the will to fight. But on this particular Tuesday afternoon, Marcus left work 2 hours early. His boss had noticed the exhaustion, etched into his face, and insisted he take the rest of the day off. As Marcus drove toward the hospital, he felt a mix of gratitude and guilt. Jennifer had shouldered so much of the burden, spending 8 to 10 hours daily at the hospital while he worked to keep their insurance and income steady. She never complained, always greeting him with updates delivered in her calm, measured voice. He wanted to surprise her, maybe convince her to grab dinner together while his sister took over for a few hours. The elevator ride to the 4th floor felt longer than usual. Marcus clutched a bouquet of daisies, his mother's favorites, purchased from the hospital gift shop. He imagined his mother's eyes lighting up despite her weakened condition. Imagined Jennifer's tired smile transforming into something brighter. These small moments of hope had sustained him through the darkest days since the stroke. Room 428 was at the end of the hall. As Marcus approached, he heard voices, Jennifer's distinctive tone, sharp and impatient, so unlike her usual demeanor. He slowed his steps, not wanting to interrupt what might be a difficult conversation with a nurse or doctor. But as he drew closer, the words became clear, and they stopped him cold. "I don't know how much longer I can do this," Jennifer was saying. "She's not getting better. Marcus won't admit it. And I'm wasting my entire life in this depressing place." Marcus froze, his hand on the doorframe. Through the narrow window, he could see Jennifer standing at the foot of the bed, her back to the door. His mother lay motionless, her eyes fixed on the ceiling. Another voice responded, male, unfamiliar, coming from a cell phone on speaker. "You knew what you were signing up for when you married him. Family obligations and all that." "I married Marcus, not his mother," Jennifer snapped. "And now she's got everyone convinced she needs round-the-clock supervision. The nurses say she's stable. She could be in a facility where professionals handle this." Marcus felt the bouquet crumpling in his tightening grip. His heart hammered against his ribs. "So put her in a home," the voice suggested. "Marcus will understand eventually. It's not that simple. She has to agree to sign the papers, or Marcus does, and he won't even discuss it." Jennifer moved closer to the bed, and Marcus watched in horror as she leaned down near his mother's face. "You could make this easier on everyone, Catherine. You're not stupid. You understand what I'm saying." His mother's eyes, which Marcus had thought were staring vacantly at nothing, suddenly shifted. They found Jennifer's face, and in them Marcus saw something he'd never forget, pure, lucid terror. "All you have to do is stop trying so hard," Jennifer continued, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "Stop doing the exercises. Stop taking your medications when no one's looking. Just let go." It would be a mercy, really. For everyone, the world tilted beneath Marcus's feet. His mind struggled to process what he was witnessing. This was his wife, the woman who had stood beside him at their wedding 7 years ago and promised to honor his family as her own. The woman who had assured him just last night that his mother showed signs of improvement. Before he could stop himself, Marcus pushed the door open. It swung wide, slamming against the wall with a bang that made Jennifer jump and spin around. Her phone clattered to the floor. "Marcus!" Her face drained of color. "You're early. I thought—" "I heard you." His voice came out strangled, barely recognizable. "I heard everything." Jennifer's mouth opened and closed. She glanced at the phone on the floor, at Marcus, at his mother in the bed. "It's not— you don't understand. I was just venting. I didn't mean— You told my mother to stop trying, to let herself die." Marcus moved to his mother's bedside, taking her trembling hand. Tears streamed down Catherine's face, and she made a sound, part sob, part moan, that broke something fundamental inside him. "She's confused," Jennifer said quickly, her composure cracking. The stroke affected her comprehension. "She doesn't understand. She understands perfectly." Marcus looked at his mother, really looked at her for the first time in days. The fear in her eyes wasn't new, he realized with sickening clarity. It had been there for a while, lurking beneath what he'd interpreted as general anxiety about her condition. "How long have you been saying these things to her?" Jennifer's silence was answer enough. "Get out." Marcus's voice was ice. "Get out of this room right now." "Marcus, please, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain. You've been emotionally abusing my mother while she's at her most vulnerable. You've been trying to convince her to give up, to die, so you can be free of the inconvenience of caring about someone other than yourself." Jennifer's mask finally slipped completely. Anger flashed across her face. "You have no idea what it's been like, day after day in this place, watching her drool and stare and make those pathetic sounds. She's never going to be who she was. Marcus, never. And I refuse to spend the next 20 years of my life." "Get out!" Marcus roared. Several nurses appeared in the doorway, alarmed. "Get her away from my mother, now," as security was called, and Jennifer was escorted from the room. Her protests echoing down the hallway, Marcus collapsed into the chair beside his mother's bed. He held her hand in both of his, pressing it to his forehead. "I'm so sorry, Mom," he whispered. "I'm so sorry. I should have known. I should have seen it." His mother made a sound, and he looked up to find her struggling to form words. Her speech had been nearly impossible since the stroke, reduced to garbled syllables that frustrated her immensely. But now, with tremendous effort, she managed 3 syllables that changed everything. "Saw you." Marcus's breath caught. "You saw me?" She nodded, tears still flowing. But something else in her eyes now, relief perhaps. Hope. "I'm here now," he promised. "And I'm not going anywhere. We're going to get through this together. I'm going to find you the best therapists, the best care, whatever it takes." Over the following weeks, Marcus learned the full extent of Jennifer's deception. His mother's lack of progress had been deliberately engineered. Jennifer had been giving her water instead of the nutritional supplements prescribed by doctors. She'd been discouraging the physical therapist, claiming Catherine was too tired for sessions. She'd been isolating her, turning away visitors by claiming Catherine was sleeping or having a bad day. Once these obstacles were removed, Catherine's improvement was remarkable. With proper nutrition, consistent therapy, and, most importantly, emotional support and encouragement, she began to reclaim pieces of herself. Her speech slowly returned, halting and imperfect but understandable. She regained movement in her left arm. She smiled again. The divorce proceedings were ugly, but Marcus never wavered. Some of his friends suggested he was being too harsh, that everyone had breaking points, that Jennifer had been under tremendous stress. But Marcus remembered his mother's terrified eyes, remembered those whispered words urging her to give up and die, and his resolve only strengthened. 6 months after that terrible Tuesday, Catherine moved into Marcus's home. He'd converted the first-floor study into a bedroom and bathroom suited to her needs. A wonderful home health aide named Patricia came during work hours. But mornings and evenings belonged to Marcus and his mother, time they'd almost lost, time that had been poisoned by cruelty masquerading as care. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset through the living room window, Catherine reached over and patted Marcus's hand. Her speech had improved enough for short conversations, though she tired easily. "You saved me," she said carefully. Marcus shook his head, his throat tight. "You saved yourself." "Mom, you kept fighting even when someone was telling you not to. That's all you." I'm just grateful I came early that day." Catherine smiled. That full, warm smile he'd grown up with now returned to him like a gift he'd never take for granted again. "My good boy." They sat in comfortable silence as darkness fell gently around them. 2 survivors of a betrayal neither had seen coming, bound together by the resilient threads of love and family that had proven stronger than cruelty. And in that quiet moment, Marcus understood something profound, that showing up matters, that vigilance is a form of love, and that sometimes the greatest act of kindness is simply refusing to let someone give up on themselves, on healing, on the precious, irreplaceable miracle of being alive.